Welcome to another Falcons webisode. I'm Mike Kelly, joined by Bruce Landon, the President and General Manager of the Springfield Falcons, and the Columbus Blue Jackets announcing that Brad Larsen is the new head coach of Springfield. What do you think?
Well, it's exciting news, Mike. It's interesting. A number of people interested in the job, and Columbus did their due diligence and interviewed some people, but when at the end of the day, it came back to Brad, and I had a chance to spend a lot of time with Brad myself, and Chris McFarland, Scott Housen interviewed him, and he's passionate, he knows the game, he's not far removed from playing, he's got the endorsement of the players, we've got a lot of the same players coming back next year, so I think it's a great choice. He reminds me a little bit, I guess, of a Ken Jernander in the sense that Ken was 2 years as assistant coach in Hartford before he got the head coaching position, and some people may say it was not enough experience, but I think fans are going to come to see that Brad, maybe lacking experience, going to make up for it, and certainly being very passionate about the position. I think he's going to do a great job for us.
The Columbus Blue Jackets made the decision. How much input did you have at this level?
Well, they keep me involved, certainly, which I appreciate. They talked to me about some of the candidates that were out there. They went through the interview process with one other candidate in fairly good detail. But they do their homework. They talk to me, how were my interactions with Brad, did I like what I saw last year with Brad, what do the players have to say about Brad, so I'm involved in that to that extent. Ultimately, it's their contract, their decision, but we all feel comfortable with Brad, and I say that quite honestly. We feel comfortable. One thing, he is not far removed, as I said, from playing. He can relate with the young players, but he also relates with the veteran guys. And I know when, at the end of the year, when we had the player exit meetings and talking to a couple of players, especially the older guys, they really liked Brad. They thought he was a really going to be a take-charge guy. He's tough, but he's honest, and he knows the game. And just spending a half an hour with him, you'll get to know how much he knows about the game, but how much he's serious about this position and really doing a good job for us.
Brad Larsen, the last 2 years, was the assistant here in Springfield. Now that leaves an assistant coach position open. What type of a guy are they looking for?
Well, that's a good question, Mike. I think ideally we'd like to find somebody, when I say we, Columbus, like to find somebody with a little experience. There were a couple candidates that had shown some interest. I'm not sure if they still are, but ideally it has to be the right fit for Brad, and Brad's going to play a big role in this, certainly, now that he's been hired as the head coach. I think what we'll see now that the announcement's been made as Brad being the head coach, it's some people are going to take note of that and realize there isn't an opening here, and I wouldn't be surprised the next day or two we're going to get flooded with more applicants. There never seems to be a shortage of guys looking for work, and but I think they'd like to find someone with an assistant with some experience to work with Brad. And I think Brad, one thing about Brad, he's very organized. He has really in his mind what he's looking for in an assistant. And I think between him and Columbus, they'll come up with the right choice.
He was a former pro forward. Nolan Pratt remaining as the assistant coach, a former defenseman in the National Hockey League as well. They might be leaning towards a forward guy?
Well, I don't know if it's... I think they're going to look for the best person and the one who has the right fit. I think Brad has detailed out what he wants that assistant to be responsible for. He's going to be pretty much regimented, I think, in what everybody's duties are, so there's everybody understands what the responsibilities are. Nolan did a great job last year in his first year as a coach working with our defense. I know in talking to our defense when they left at the end of the year, they raved about the work Nolan did. It took him maybe a couple weeks to get his feet wet, and then away he went and did a good job working with the young defensemen. So I think with the other assistant positions, finding the right mix for Brad to be able to fulfill the responsibilities that Brad is going to give that person to do, and whether it's somebody who comes in and works in different areas, whether it's special teams or whatever Brad has them do, it'll be the right fit and the right person.
The Falcons have been done for almost a month now. Talk about the NHL and AHL playoffs. Have you been following them closely?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely following them. You know, it's everybody asks you who your favorite is, and you know, at the AHL level, I hate to pick favorites, but Norfolk's had such a great year with the tremendous run they had, and you know, if they could win a championship, I think it's fitting for a team that went on such a great run and has done well. But I don't have any favorites. Whoever wins it, and good for them. At the NHL level, again, no favorites for me. It's the Rangers had a great year. New Jersey's come on a little strong. LA could be the dark horse, so who knows? But it's exciting hockey. There's no better time of year than playoff hockey, and both the NHL and the AHL.
One thing at the AHL, there will be a first-time AHL Calder Cup champion this year.
Good point. Absolutely will be, and it's nice to see. You can see where the parity is in the league with teams that have never won it before getting a chance to sort of win the whole thing. So that's exciting.
Thanks for joining us, Bruce.
Thanks, Mike.
That's the General Manager and President of the Springfield Falcons, Bruce Landon.